Perfect. So if you guys could have a pencil and paper next to you or a notebook and pencil, we're going to be doing some problems today and you're going to have to type the letter answer in the chat. And so if you guys could have that with you, and then I will go over the problem once everyone gives me an answer, or most of you guys give me an answer, I will go over the problem, give you a quick overview of it, and then we will move on to the next one. So we're going to start with just adding fractions. So for this first one, we have 2/8 plus 5/8. So go ahead and work that out. I'll wait about a minute or two, type your answer in the chat, and then I will do a demonstration. I'll work out the problem on a whiteboard for you. All right, good job, guys. So yes, A is the correct answer for this first problem. Oops. I did an upgrade to my Chrome extension so that I can have this huge mouse, because I know it's kind of hard to see when it's just a little one. So I hope that makes it better. So yes, 2/8 plus 5/8 for our first problem. And when we are adding and subtracting fractions, we need to have the same denominator. That's about 8. We need to have the same denominator. And since we already did for this one, we are set and good to go. So if it makes it easier for you, you can put just over 8 on the bottom and then just adding on the top, because I know that is visually easier for some people. Or you can just remember that you're just adding the top and leaving the bottom the same. So 2 plus 5 gives me 7 over 8. So my answer is A. And this one cannot be simplified because 7 is a prime number, and so that means that's as low as it'll go. Okay, next problem, we're going to be adding 7/4 and 3 3/4. We have a fraction, an improper fraction, and a mixed number. Remember, when we're adding, we want to both have them be fractions. So you're going to take that mixed number and make it an improper fraction. So go ahead, give it a shot. If you don't remember how to make a mixed number into an improper fraction, then I will give you a quick little tip. So you're going to take the denominator, the number on the bottom, and multiply it by the whole number, so 3. So 4 times 3 gives me 12. And then you take 12 and add it to the numerator. So 12 plus 3 gives me 15. Or you can look at it like this. That might help. So I'm left with 15 over 4 because we keep the denominator the same. So now that you have 15 over 4, you can add that to 7 over 4 and then simplify and let me know what you get. So we have 15 over 4 plus 7 over 4. So since it's just adding again, I'm going to keep the bottom the same and just add the ones on the top. So 15 plus 7 gives me 22 over 4. And then that can be reduced because it's a 2, and 22 and 4 are both even numbers so that they can be reduced. So I like to just do 4 divided by 22, and then that will help me simplify it. So 4 divided by 22, 4 goes into 22 5 times. And then that gives me 20, and then I'm left with 2. So then I like to take my 5, make it my whole number, and then I have 2, keep my denominator the same, and I have 2/4. And then the 2/4 can also be simplified, so I can divide the top and the bottom by 2. And I get 5 1/2, or C as my answer. Good job, Pedro, for typing it in the chat and getting it correct. Leslie and Xander, does that make sense, or do you need me to go over it again? It's kind of nice only having 3 of you guys today. It makes it easy. Makes sense. Perfect. Okay. Moving on to the next one, we're going to subtract. So for subtracting, we're going to make sure we have the same denominator again. It's the same as adding. And this one, since we know how to subtract, I kind of took away the easy one and I put in the mixed number first for you, or for you guys to have to convert. So my first step when I see this problem is I'm going to convert it to both fractions, and then make sure they have the same denominator. Okay, so I converted my mixed number to a improper fraction. So 4 times 1 gives me 4, and then I added 1 gives me 5 over 4. So then I have 2/3 minus 5/4. So if you guys want to take that and then give them the same denominator and subtract. So a common denominator for 3 and 4 is going to be 12. So you're going to make 2/3 into something over 12 and 5/4 into something over 12. So I take 2 over 3 and then I put blank over 12 next to it. And then I go 3 times what gives me 12? 4. So then I multiplied 2 by 4 to give it the same. So 2 by 4 gives me 8. And then I'm going to do the same with my 5/4. 4 times what gives me 12? 3. 3 times 5 gives me 15. And I'm subtracting, so I go 8/12 minus 15/12 up here. 8 minus 15 gives me -7. And then I keep the same denominator over 12. So that means my answer will be D. So that's subtracting, pretty much the same as adding. You just want to make sure you have the same denominator, but keep the denominator the same and then subtract the numerators. Okay, moving on is multiplying. So for multiplying fractions, the way I like to do it is just multiply straight across. So we have 2/3 times 7/4. So go ahead and do that one for me and type the letter answer in the chat. Okay, so I have 2/3 times 7/4. I like to do it all on one fraction bar just to keep it prettier in my head. So we have 2 times 7 over 3 times 4. 2 times 7 gives me 14, and 3 times 4 gives me 12. And then I'm left with an improper fraction because 14 and 12 can both be simplified. So 14 and 12, 2 goes into both of them. So I'm going to divide the top and bottom by 2. And then I am left with 7/6. And then that can still be reduced to, because 6 goes into 7 one time, and I'm left with 1 left over 6. So my answer is 1/6. Or you can take 14/12. And how many times does 12 go into 14? 1. And then you're left with 2 over 12, because 14 minus 12 is 2. And then 2/12 can be simplified as well to 1/6. 1/6. So my answer is C. Great job, Leslie. Okay. Moving on to a little bit harder of a multiplication one. So this time we're multiplying again, but this time you have to take the mixed number and make it an improper fraction. So 4 and 5/6 times 11/8. So 4 and 5/6 to make it a improper fraction. 6 times 4 gives me 24. And then plus 5 gives me 29 over 6. And then I'm going to multiply that by 11 over 8. So 29 times 11, just because I did this in another class, I know the answer to it. I had to do it on a calculator. I could never do that in my head. But it's 331 over 6 times 8 is 48. So that is a messy fraction that can definitely be simplified. So 48 into 331 gives me 6. So I'm going to just do a division problem. So 48 into 331 is 6. And then 48 times 6 gives me 288. So then, as I would with a normal division problem, subtract the 288. Maybe it wasn't 331. I think I did it wrong. 29 times 11. 319. Oops, my bad. 319 minus 228 gives me 31 as my remainder. So then my whole number is 6. Oops. And then I have 31 over 48. So yes, Pedro was correct. D is my final answer. That's why I got 331, because it's 31 over 48. It's 319. My bad. So do your math correctly. Unlike me, don't try and remember it. All right. Does anyone need explanation on that one, or is that okay? Alrighty, moving on to division of fractions. So when we're dividing fractions, we want to keep the first fraction the same, but then we're going to flip the second fraction, which means the denominator becomes the numerator and the numerator becomes the denominator, and then multiply straight across as you would in multiplying fractions. So go ahead and give that one a go. Type your answer in the chat and then I'll go over it. And remember that a whole number always, it's called invisible math, but always has a numerator or denominator of 1 underneath it. So it would be 1 over 1, or if it was 331, it'd be over 1. So I'm going to keep the first fraction the same and flip the second one and then multiply them together. So I have 1 over 1 times 9 over 2. And then to make it prettier in my brain, I like to do the multiplication on, put them on the same line. So 1 times 9 gives me 9. 1 times 2 gives me 2. So then we are left with 9 over 2. And then that can be simplified. 2 goes into 9 4 times, and then I'm left with 1. So my whole number is 4, and then I have 1 over 2. So Leslie, you were correct. The answer is B. Okay, this is our last review problem on fractions for the day. It is 1 6/7 divided by 2. So this one you're going to have to make into an improper fraction and then divide them together. Simply flip your second fraction and then multiply. So go ahead and do that one. Type your letter answer in the chat and then we will go over it. I'm sure some of you guys know that the middle schoolers are starting MAPS testing this week. So they're going to kind of be our little guinea pigs to see what we need to do differently for when it comes to high school's turn to take MAPS test. But we will be taking MAPS next week. I got the schedule from Mr. Lawrence. Let me pull that up so I can tell you what day we're doing math. Nope. There we go. So Tuesday we will test for math. Wednesday will be the reading MAPS test, and Thursday will be the writing MAPS test. We will do it in your advisory. So you'll join the Google Meet link from your advisory, and then they will proctor it from your, by proctor, I mean the teacher that will like open the test for you, your advisory teacher. You'll get more information about that as it comes sooner, but We will MAPS test a week from today. Okay. 1 6/7 to make it into a improper fraction. 7 times 1 plus 6 gives me 13/7 times or divided by 2/1. Flip that, becomes 1/2. So then my multiplication problem is 13 times 1 over 7 times 2. So then I'm left with 13/14. Do you understand where you went wrong, Leslie, or do you need me to do it again so that you can see, try and figure it out?
No.
Okay. All right, my friends. So that is all I had for fraction review. Tomorrow, or not tomorrow, I won't see you guys again until Thursday. Thursday, we will go over integers, so adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing positive and negative numbers. I just wanted to let you guys know that for MAPS testing, it's going to do you no good if you cheat on it, because what we want to see throughout the school year is growth. So if you ace this first one and then we're suddenly back in school for the second one and you don't do as well because you can't cheat when you're in school, it's going to be really hard for you to grow and get better. And the questions for MAPS just get harder and harder as you do them if you get them right. So just do what you know. And then we'll work on just growth this year. It's not for points in the grade book. It's not for points in any of your classes. It's just something that we want you to get done so we can have a baseline score to grow on for the rest of the semester. So do not cheat on your MAPS test. Just get it done on next Tuesday. We just want it done. So if that means that you do just the best you can, then that is all we're asking for, just to give me all you got in the math MAPS. So that is all I had planned for today. I'm going to let you guys go 5 minutes early, but I will see you all on Thursday. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.
Say goodbye.
You too. Bye.